Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to talk a little about Pigman, basically reintroducing him to a new audience. I have a few hundred at least, new followers on X, thanks to Amy Meck and others who had me on uh, to talk about the 10th anniversary of the jihadist attack on in Garland, Texas, at the Curtis Caldwell Center. The location where I won the hello. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry, Alio Ba. How are we doing? Glad to have you here. Yeah, I'm just introducing Pigman to a new audience, potential new audience, and want to talk a little about him, answer any questions about him, and go from there. Okay, it's funny. Pigman is basically it's post 9/11. Well, I see the atrocity, witness it like all of us did. Witness the human beings who were jumping from the towers instead of burning alive, and the horror of it all. And I figured, okay, I'm a cartoonist. I'm not a soldier. I'm a cartoonist. So I'm going to write and draw against this enemy. How do I start? Where do I start? And where I started was with my background, with my Islamic background. I was born and raised with Muslim parents, born and raised to Albanian Muslim parents in the Bronx. We were passive Muslims, but as I always state, the Jew hatred, the misogyny was hardcore. Hey, Tim, the Jew hatred and misogyny was hardcore. And also the bigotry. I call it bigotry because it's funny, but it's also true. There was a real hatred, not just a distaste, as in Muslims just didn't eat pork. No, no, no. It was considered the ugliest creature on earth, the most disgusting creature on earth. If it came on the TV in any capacity, whether it's Porky Pig or whatever, it's like parents recoiled at the thought of it, at the sight of it. So I said, okay, I'm going to create an anti-jihad superhero, ex-Muslim like me, knows the enemy's language, literally, the many languages that they speak, and is going to exploit their bigotry by wearing pigskin leather. That was the eureka moment that I had after I created Pigman. I was like, okay, I think it's a really good way to fight the psychological warfare that's needed as well. Not only is he a big ruthless guy with powers, and he created his own powers. Each issue you see him get souped up a little more, from just being bulletproof to being strong to flying eventually. And so that's what I was thinking of. I want this ruthless superhero to take on this enemy. Absolutely, man called Plush. That's right. In the original back cover of the Infidel feature Pigman #1, there's Frank Warner there thinking about jihadists. He goes, jihadists are a superstitious and cowardly lot. I must become something that they fear, something that I shall become a pig, the way Bruce Wayne said it. So I was thinking, I'm going to do this. I'm going to respond to this. But I was also like, okay, I want to study this enemy as intensely as I can. I want to know who I'm dealing with. I want to second guess what they might do. I want to know them. So that's when I revisited my Islamic background. That's when I started reading the Quran and rereading it and reading dozens and dozens of books on Islamic jihad, on the cultural jihad, on the political jihad, and so on and so on. And by that time I was ready. But by that time also, when I figured it all out, I said, okay, I have a story, but I want to get a little deeper here. I don't just want to have this force of nature pounding these guys out of existence. I want to skewer them in the culture. I want to, take them on the way I'm taking them on in my own life, writing articles, drawing cartoons, political cartoons, and so on. And then I said, you know what? How about if I create within the story, the Pigman is the comic book within the story. And the story is about twin brothers, Albanian Muslim background, look like me, as if I split myself in two. And to ask, okay, what would that look like? What if I took Islam deadly seriously after 9/11, became a born again Muslim? What would that look like? And then also, I had myself as reference for the other character, which is a recovered Muslim. And I had the recovered Muslim, Killian Duke, create Pigman superhero within the story. He creates a comic book, and that sets off his born again Muslim brother, Salam Duka. And Salam means peace in Islam. Islam means submission. Salam means peace. Muslims will lie to you. Leftists will lie to you. And even some right wingers will lie to you and say that, no, it means peace. It doesn't. It means submission. So that's when I said, okay, I think I have a real rich story here for myself. I think this is something worth doing. And again, guys, if you're new here, I'm speaking to you. I had hundreds of new followers on X. Thank you very much for following me, for being part of this. Thank you. I want to get the word out as much as I possibly can about my work, about what I do, and just to be as successful as I can to tell this truth in an interesting way that I think will be also entertaining. Because again, it could be a deep, dark, dirty thing to get involved with this stuff. It really is. It's so obscenely violent. Islam and jihad, and hundreds and hundreds murdered every week in the name of Islam. And while I do acknowledge that in the book, this is why I do what I do, I also found a way to make it engaging and a little entertaining as well. So while I'm informing you within a story and the characters who know their stuff, because they have debates in the comic book conventions, on television, and so on, in courtrooms, I also wanted to bring something entertaining to the story, because I think it's necessary. I love that in stories that I love. I mean, the most serious, stories can contain genuine organic humor, and it works beautifully. And you also get to release the tension a little, and so on. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to mention that. If you're new to Pigman, check out. I have my Pigman campaign on fundmycomic.com. I have 275 backers. I'm about to hit 18,000. If you haven't backed it, I would really appreciate it, guys. I would really appreciate that. So I'm going to show you the trailer here. Give me 1 second. Excuse me. 1 second. 1 second, guys. I can make this a little smaller. Okay. I think that's better. Give me 1 second. I didn't want to do that. Huh. Okay. It's weird. Okay. 1 second. Thank you very much, guys. Give me 1 second. That trailer was created by Shanth Anjeti, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry, Shanth, if I botched it. Who's also a Comicsgate King like me. We appear on Comicsgate Kings on Mondays on Ethan Van Sciver's channel, part of the Comicsgate movement, which is basically, in short, it's a movement of fans and creators who want to support the creators who've been canceled from the industry of comics. They help us make these comics. They bring them to life. With your support, we can bring comic books into the world that might not otherwise be easy for us to do. So thank you very much for all your support, and check out Shant's comic. I'm gonna play his trailer actually. Give me 1 second. It's on Indiegogo, Spring Ball, and it looks interesting as hell. Beautifully drawn. So give me 1 second. So thank you very much. Check out Shant's campaign, Indiegogo, Spring Ball, Terminal Monstrosity. Looks fantastic, and I just want to show you quick. As a thank you, after you made that incredible trailer for me, Pigman, I just drew Spring Ball, and I'm going to be inking it and coloring it very soon and sending it, to send his way. Whatever he wants to do with it. He wants to make it as a trading card or whatever. That's up to him. So thanks for your time with that, and check out Shant's comics and also the other Comics Get Kings. I would really appreciate your support, and they would as well. So thanks, Beener. I'm gonna check in with the comments, and then also just make another pitch, and then go to talk to the Hobgoblin about the Hobgoblin. That is, I started last Monday. Comics Get Kings. There was a prompt for the drawing of that night because we draw every week now. The prompt was Spider-Man's foes. And we were like, the first character came to mind was Hobgoblin. I was like, oh man, I love the Hobgoblin. So it was a great excuse to draw the Hobgoblin, which I did. And then I started thinking about the character and the comics that I loved, and going back and checking those out and discussing them on my channel. I'm not going through every single issue of the Hobgoblin. I'm going through choice ones. The next one I have up was by Roger Stern, John Romita Jr., and inked by Dan Green, which is particularly good. The inking was fantastic. He uses a brush, so he has a really beautiful, thin, thick line. Very, very elegant. So let me pull this up here 1 second. Okay, this is Pigman hovering over Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden says, I'll shoot, I swear. Don't touch me. Putting a gun to his own head. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. And let me know, guys, if you can tell a little difference in the camera quality. If you can, let me know. If you can't, but just let me know if you do, or if you notice it on your own without me mentioning it. Dan Lawless mentioned in the Comics Get Kings chat about using something to hook to the computer and using the iPhone to maybe get a better, sharper view. And I think it works. And it was a great thing that Dan mentioned, because it's like, all right, I want to be clear on this, no doubt about it, especially if I show art on here. Comic Books and Coots. Hey, these Hobgoblin videos have been great, Bosch. Glad I can catch one live. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. I will get to it in a few minutes. Hello, John. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great night. We are. Hello out there. How's it going? Headless Bourgeois, how are you? Hi, Jeremy. How's it going, guys? Yeah, so guys, if you want to back something that's not being done out there, thanks, Comic Books and Coots. check it out. Check out Pigman. Take it on jihad in as ruthless a way and as honest a way as I can, with the full knowledge of Islam and jihad as I studied. I didn't want to get in there without doing that. Unlike Frank Miller, who just dove in blindly because he felt it. It's like, yeah, our feelings aren't enough sometimes. You got to put it in there also. So what he did was he did that, and then in the interviews to try to, I guess, cover his ass, he was asked about the comic and about is it Islamophobic or whatever. He goes, "Well, I don't know squat about Islam. Why not, Frank?" As I always say, why not? You're writing about an enemy who's influenced by Spider-Man, by Spider-Man, by Islam. They're motivated by Islam, and you're not going to read that. You're not going to read it. Why not? John, book looks great. How is the remastered version coming along? Thanks, John. It's coming along. It's little bit by bit. It'll be ready by the end. I'm thinking now the end. Well, the end of July is when I intended to have the first shipments going out. So it'll be ready by then. While I do my other project that I'm doing as well. So fortunately for me, this is it's a remaster, so I don't have to start from scratch. I'm just polishing up things as I go, and I'm going to start to show a little of that on X. If you follow me on X, John, you'll be able to see little tidbits, little panels, and also some whips, works in progress of the extra pages and the splash pages, and also the double page spreads that I'm going to add. Because the first issue will be pig-sized, as will all the issues, and not going to be your average size comic. It'll be 60 plus, pages each issue. So it'll be good, and I will show you little by little until that time. I mean, we're about 2 months away, so a little less than 2 months away. So I will definitely get it out there, and I'll start putting it on the campaign as well. Put little updates, email updates as well. I added a number of emails to my email list, so thanks for asking, John, and you'll be able to see it fairly soon. And also, in terms of another cover, I definitely want to get something else, and I gotta figure it out to make a real splash. I want to close out strong as hell. Also, guys, if you could tell me at one point, maybe message me or something, what is the mid-campaign closeouts? If you could tell me what that is. And then second chance. I hear these things. I don't know exactly what they are. If you could let me know, I would really appreciate it. You guys would know more than me. So, okay, John. Okay. You don't have an X account. Never signed up. I'll wait for you to show some stuff. Okay. I will show it here as well. I definitely will. I'll show you the original art and the drawings, and then also some of the things on the campaign. But yeah, X is my main place of operations in terms of the social media. That's the only one that I have any kind of larger platform. I'm close to 27,000 now. Facebook has been knocked out. I can't access my account. Unfortunately, I have 12,000 followers there who I can't access, which is not good, especially for this campaign. I want to interest them as well. So, it'll be less than I would have hoped, but I'm still trying to get this out there as widely as I can. And I got 5 different covers here also, guys. 5 different covers. I have 9-page preview. I have T-shirts. I have index card sketches. I have digital comic version. I have posters, prints, and I also have trading cards, as well as original art and original covers, some sketch covers that I draw Pigman, Killian Duke, or whoever you want. Really, it's up to you. I mean, it'll be even if it's some, I think, mainstream character. As far as I know, I can do that as long as there's one original drawing that I'm selling. Also, my first graphic novel is available as part of this campaign. You guys can order it here as well. And original art, and also an original commission of Pigman with your idea that I just execute. So thanks for checking this out. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to hopefully I can get some more backers. I got a backer today. Always appreciate that. And I got hundreds of followers on X, which is really, really cool. So let me go here. Let here and let me pull up. The Hobgoblin. And again, if you have any questions, guys, any questions about Pigman, please ask. Don't hesitate to ask. I will answer them as clearly as I can and whatever interest you have. And again, I know that there are people who, there are people who maybe haven't gotten comics, Maybe you're not a comic book reader. That's cool. That's fine. There are a number of people who, for them, Pigman was their first comic, so I would appreciate your support. And it's not, again, it's not your typical comic. It's not anything that the mainstream would ever publish. It is considered unspeakable, some of the things that happen in this. And I'm not an obscene cartoonist. I don't do things just for effect. I never have, never will. But there are things that happen in there which, I gotta say, some readers contacted me and said, I had to put it down. Some things that happened, they had to put it down. They as if it was too hot, and I like that. I like that a lot. So I appreciate that. So yeah, guys, check it out when you can and ask me any questions that you have. I would really appreciate it. John says, I hope Liam is doing okay. It sounds like he's been going through some pretty serious shit. I popped into Liam's stream last night, and he seemed fine. He wanted me on. I couldn't come on. I just gave him $10, just say, thanks. Next time, I'll definitely go on his show. We'll talk. Yeah, I don't know if you don't know, Liam hired me a number of years ago, like 8 years ago, to do this cover. Maybe Liam could tell you about it at some point, and then we can both talk about it on his show. And I was happy to do it. And he paid me, and it was all good. That's why in my first time on Trashcast, or it was something, I don't know if it was I think it was Trashcast actually. And Liam popped on at the end, and on Ethan's channel, he was like, Bosh. I was like, hello. He goes, Bosh, Liam, I said, oh man, I completely forgot. It was like 6 or 7 years at that point. So, he's been apologizing to people in general. Like he apologized in my chat the other day. Bosh, if there's anything I ever did to you, I said, Liam, my experience, you've been nothing but cool. Whatever people have to say, I have no direct, complaints towards you. I don't have anything that Liam has said or done, that has gone up to me in any way, or, whatever else with anyone else. I mean, that's their problem, that's his and theirs and whatever. But he has nothing to apologize to me for. So I hope he is doing okay, John. Hey, Mikey, how's it going? Mikey, did you like Ultimate Spider-Man Bosch? I did not. I'm not crazy about Mark Bagley. I don't like his style. I don't like his Spider-Man. The stupid big eyes, the incredible, dumb lines, the web lines, and also the really aggressive dialogue of Brian Michael Bendis. I got at least 1 or 2 issues. I was done. I was out. I was like, nah, I can't do this. An entire page of Jonah Jameson going, no joke, and he thinks that's being cute. He's been an asshole. Brian Michael Bendis, he's been an asshole. He's not letting us know who's on the line and what she's saying or he's saying. I think it was Aunt May, probably Aunt May. Things like that. I have no tolerance for. Don't waste the space. Don't. And sure as hell don't bombard the reader with dialogue. I know you're a quote-unquote writer. You're a goddamn writer of a comic book, and you have to balance it out with the art. You have to. You have to balance it out with the art. It's not just writing. It's not just art. It's both. Give a little space for each. Make the space. Give the medium the respect it's due. So no, I did not like it, Mikey, at all. Okay, comic books in cahoots. Second chance is usually done after the campaign has closed. Okay, but when the book has been printed and waiting to be shipped. Okay, sometimes the second chance is a different cover. CG pushes the book again. Okay, appreciate it. Okay, I will keep that in mind. So once it's printed, I have it in my possession, it hasn't been shipped out, I can give people another chance. And again, I'm going to order a whole load more than the copies that I get, because I want to be, everything in stock. Whenever I print the next books that I print, because I got 4 or 5 books out of stock. I have my old Pigman comics out of stock now. Not out of stock; they're out of print. Um, I sold them all. Again, you guys cleaned me out in Comicsgate within the last year. You really did. That's awesome. That's great. But I would like to have at least a nice, healthy number of Pigman #1 when I do that, in order for people who are interested after the fact. I can sell it on my store and so on, directly to people. So thanks, Comic Books and Goods. I'm going to look into it more and ask some of the kings, Shanth and others, what's what. So thanks. Um, Magic Me, hey Magic Me. Bosch, what do you think about that dude in UK that got arrested by Muslim cops for burning the Quran? It's huh. It's a crime, what the UK government is doing to its citizens. It's a crime. This is Sharia law in action. It's not Western law. It's not the UK law. This is Sharia law, and they're punishing the citizens who have the right to do that. They have the right to do that. Treating them like criminals, like a Muslim country would. It's obscene. It's repugnant. So that's what I think about it. I think it's disgusting. I think it's a criminal act by the UK government. Criminal act. Um, Unreal. I saw that picture. I was like, just sickened. Shared it. I don't know. You guys are in deep shit there, and you need some decent leadership who will not tolerate anything like that. Anything like that. Who will, punish the cops who did that. Punish the cops for committing the crime of arresting an individual for burning a goddamn holy book of an enemy that's at war with us. That's a goddamn crime. It's like burning Mein Kampf. It really is. That's the equivalent. Comic Books and Coots, the only extra copies are usually the mostly pure profit for the creator when the book has the heat from the original backers word of mouth. Okay, the only extra copies are usually the mostly pure profit for the creator when the book has the heat from the original backers word of mouth. Yeah, the word of mouth is what I'm counting on. Comic Books and Coots, it really is. I'm new to a lot of you guys in Comicsgate, so even though I've been lurking in the background since 2017, 18, your boy Zach's threads, I mean, his videos, he's a commenter there, Ethan's also. But I was always on the outskirts. Again, I'm a loner by nature. I would never even thought about like joining what? Joining a movement? No, that's anathema to me. I don't do that. Well, here I am, happily. Love being part of Comics at Kings. Honored to be part of it. So it's great. But yeah, I am counting on word of mouth. Those who read it and who cannot wait to read issue 2. I'm counting on it. I hope it, comes to fruition that is the case, and there's a lot more interest for issue 2. I really do, because I want this to be a great success, a great success. And I can't do it without you guys. So thank you everyone for backing it. Every time I get a backer, it's a big deal to me. It's a big deal. It's a vote of confidence, because you guys are doing this. A lot of you guys are doing this blindly with faith. Really, that's what you're doing. You're hoping it's good. You think it's good. You may like the way I'm presenting it, but you don't know. You don't know. And I believe that when you guys do know, I hope you spread the word, because that would be the big sell, the biggest sell, really. I read it. I like it. Check it out, guys. That's the big sell. So thank you. Mikey says you should do a Pigman Incorporated like Morrison in every country. That's right, Mikey. Hilarious. Now, there was a point, and there probably will be, where there are some copycats. The problem is that they don't understand what Pigman actually is. And when they do understand, they call him a pussy, because in their mind, these copycats, these madmen, they go after Muslims. They go after Muslims who don't kill. That's a problem. Pigman makes it very clear. He goes after the ideology, the religion Islam in his books. He goes after Muslims who murder in the name of Islam. That's the enemy to him. The religion and its true believers. Not every average Muslim. It's just not the case. Hey, Stormtrooper Julius Caesar, hail. Comic books includes absolutely. Comicsgate is made up of a bunch of loners for the most part. It's true. It really is. Um, Cartoonists are loners, as Alex Told mentioned, said it's a selfish mistress. It really is. We are all loners. We're all introverts. But to survive in this, post leftist taking over comics industry, media, the business, we've had to find a way to get the word out. How do we get the word out? By fellow creators who have a bigger platform than ours, like Ethan. Um, I launched my Pigman comic. I launched it during the day, about 4 or 5 hours on my own. I was able to get about $4,000 in backing on that first day, which is fantastic. I think I got on Ethan's show, shot it up to 5,000, so it was 9,000, almost $10,000 that first day. I think it's great, and I've been able to basically make about 8,000 since on my own. A little, popping on Chance shows and Shane's and John's, but the bulk of it was that first day, and then also I more or less I want to get to the point where I can do that on my own, another 10,000, and then hopefully close it out really strong, really strong. And I have a pedigree. I've been in comics for 21 years officially, professionally. I'm an Eisner nominated artist. Again, this is for new followers here on X. I got hundreds of new followers. Thank you very much. Thank you for following me. Thank you for the reposts. Thank you very much. Thank you for backing it. I got some backers on that alone, and also sold this. Let me get it here. Give me 1 second. I sold another of my, which I have to change actually now. Okay, I draw recreations of my Woody Muhammad cartoon. My Woody Muhammad cartoon, again, it was 2015. The Charlie Hebdo massacre happened January 7th of that year. A dozen people were slaughtered for drawing Muhammad by Muslims. A few months later, in Garland, Texas, at the Curtis Coble Center, Muslims got together to defend the Prophet. Not to defend free speech, not to defend, not to support those who were suffering over the loss of those who were slaughtered in the name of Islam, but to defend this long dead, if he even ever lived, that's also a question, warlord. So Pamela Geller, Robert Spencer were at that event protesting it, and then had this incredible idea to say, you know what? We're going to have a Muhammad cartoon contest, and we're going to have the event and announce the winner at this place. And the owners of that place, I guess, felt checkmated because they were like, okay, we had this pro-Islam, now let's have this pro-freedom, pro-free speech, pro-American, you know, event here. And they did. So they announced the contest. I clearly jumped at it. I was drawing Muhammad a few dozen times by that point. I've drawn him about 700 times since, which is crazy to me, but I'm going to hit 1,000 for sure. And I sent mine in, and I won, and it was fantastic. And if you don't know, 20 minutes after my speech, after my acceptance speech, jihadists came to mass murder us and got their heads blown off. What a day. I got $12,500 for that, drawing. And now I do recreations, and I just sold another one today. So guys, I'm down to 4. Only 4 of 20. It's expensive. It's $500, but my life is also expensive. There's a possibility that I could have been taken out for being there, for making this cartoon and entering the contest. So keep that in mind also. It's very limited to 20. I sold 16 so far, guys. Only 4 left. Check it out. It's something that's as close to the original as I can get. A little differences here and there. I like to mix it up a little, but overall, it's this drawing. You can't draw me. That's why I draw you. So check it out. It's at boschfalls.com. You also can order my Muhammad on the Run flip book. I don't think there's any book like it on earth. It's a flip book. I should be getting I was supposed to be getting the books, and then I'm getting a proof, which I did ask for. And they said, no, we know it's good. I'm like, well, I still like the proof. So I'm getting the proof, making sure it works, and then getting out there. It's been a little hassle trying to get this one. I've sat on the files of this one for a year. My old printer wouldn't print it. No one else would. I contacted a number of people, nothing. And finally, I re-asked again, and they said, "Okay, we'll do it." But it's like a square. It's 4 by 4, so the inside has a black like bar across and black bar on bottom, on top and bottom. So it looks like one of those what do you call that? Letterbox movies. Um, that's the only size that they could do. So I said, okay. So I had to change it. It was originally 2.5 by 4, but now it's 4 by 4. So check it out, guys. I would appreciate you supporting. I got one left of Peaceful Death Threats. With all of the death threats that I've gotten, I can make 3 or 4 more volumes. There were thousands of death threats that I got, so I had 2 volumes. Volume 2 is out of print. It's and also this one will be out of print very, very soon. So thank you for your time. Consider getting this. You can't draw me. That's why I draw you. And you got Muhammad in there, looking with real rage. All right, guys. Thank you for your time. And we will get this started fairly soon. Let me read a few more comments here. Sir Stormtrooper Julian Caesar. Sir. That's funny. Boom Bots. That kingpin on the cover reminds me of your restaurant boss at Table for One. There is that. I mean, he's a big guy, Richie. Richie basically is, how can I put it? I worked in a restaurant for years, years ago, to make my way while I was going to school or while I was studying. It was a good way to make money. Well, only nights for a while. It was only nights, so you could draw during the day and draw after work, sometimes up until 3 o'clock in the morning after I got back from dinner. But he is all my bosses put together. That's why he's as big as he is, because he has to be, right? All the bosses put together. So yeah, except he has the that long hair, but he's a big guy with the big hands. John Byrne drew this cover. I don't think his signature is there. It's a little, yeah, I think it is there actually, but it's a little, it's in the debris. That hand's a little wonky right there, but that hand's good. If a little too short his arm, but the Hobgoblin's great by Byrne. It's a great Hobgoblin. Spider-Man's solid too. A little wobbly lines, but you know. Mikey, I predict 50K. Thank you. That's what a few people predicted. I hope that's the case. I hope I can get there. I got a few more months, so actually a few more months. Yeah, I have 2.5 months at least. Thank you for putting a link too. Appreciate it. Comic Books and Cahoots, passion for comics, sells books and funds campaigns. You're doing great for having a really controversial project. Keep it up. Keep at it, Bosch. Thank you very much, Comic Books and Cahoots. Much appreciated. Truly. Thank you, man. Mucky, Pigman fan art hashtags. Can you explain that? I love seeing Pigman fan art. I love it. Do you want to make one? Is that what you're saying? And you'll hashtag it, or I don't know. Hey, Henry. How's it going? Very, very cool. Listening in and enjoy your workout. All right, guys. So let's go to the comic. Now look at this. This is John Romita Jr. It says Breakdowns by John Romita Jr. He was doing breakdowns for a number of years, but as far as I can tell, that's a rock solid drawing right there. Just rock solid drawing. Peter Parker is built like a rock. Also, he's not a creepy looking guy like the McFarlane version where he's all hunched over and skinny. He's built rock solid. I love that. So this is called Secrets. In a darkened cottage room in the suburban community of Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey. Well, hello there, this lady says. And he's like, nuts. Those blasted sliding doors. Let's see if I can get... that thing keeps flapping over. I hate that. Okay. Sorry, guys. Nuts. Those blasted sliding doors never look right. When my spider sense warned me, never lock writing, excuse me. When my spider sense warned me that someone was coming in, I was just half out of my cosmic shirt. Now, guys, there were a few issues before this. I dealt with the hobgoblin, but they were the hobgoblin sending out some others who were not quite him. Test the waters, throw it out there, test the powers. He wanted to have a guinea pig to see if he can retain, if he can get the powers of the Green Goblin, basically, to get superpowered, like Spider-Man. So he took this one thug, Lefty Donovan, did that, and he ended up dying. And Hobgoblin was recuperating after his first battle with Spider-Man, where he got pretty damn banged up. So this is a return here. This is, I think, the real return of the actual Hobgoblin, not some secondary character, because that happened throughout his entire career. He always had some dupes to get in there. So here's Peter Parker here, thinking he was caught with that Spider-Man shirt. He was, when my spider sense warned me that someone was coming in, I was just half out of my costume shirt. Did I shuck it off in time, or what a day to forget my contact lenses, she says. You know, handsome, you're worth wearing glasses for. I bet you're dynamite with lights on. But isn't it the wrong season for long johns? He goes, actually, they're my warm-up pants, miss. And again, look at Peter Parker, the way Romita Jr. makes him. Rock solid build. He's not a powerhouse, but he's just rock solid, like built. And it was also something about this version that he was very strong, and they played it up. You know, breaking through metal doors and ripping the doors out. You know, carrying a bus and so on. Other writers pretend that he's a street level hero, which is just absolute, crap. Hey, Wishmaster, how's it going? Okay, guys, so let me continue. Surely, just surely, I'll bet I could help you warm up, stranger. Wow, propositioning the complete stranger there. Gee, that's awfully nice, Shirley, but I have to do this myself, alone. It's part of a top secret training program. You understand? It's funny. Huh. No, I don't. Training for what? The Olympics. Wish me luck. Babe, one of us is crazy, and I don't think it's me. Well, Parker, you've certainly gotten your weekend off to a dandy start. Oh, well, Shirley didn't really strike me as being my type. Besides, Liz Osborne said there'd be lots of lovely single ladies at her housewarming bash. And boy, she wasn't kidding. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Oh, there you are, Peter. For a minute, I thought you'd gotten lost. Nice shirt, but I never pictured you as the animal type. Me neither, Liz. A grad student buddy gave it to me as a gag. Man, this new place of yours is something else. Care for a quick tour? So this is Norman Osborn's son, Harry Osborn, and his wife, Liz Osborn. And it's their new home. And it connects also this hobgoblin with the Green Goblin and so on. People are being blackmailed, as you'll see. Monkey says, hey, Grey Wolf. Monkey says, hashtags on social media draw attention to your work. Asking fans to draw in our post with hashtag Pigman fan art can get viewers you might not have had yet. I see. I love when it's organic, when it's motivated by the artists themselves. I have a handful of them. I can do that, but at the same time, I just maybe next time I send like a drawing out there, a Pigman, I might do that. Say, hey, show me your drawings of a Pigman. But I love when people are self-motivated by that, when they draw it on their own. I love that. I don't want to, necessarily push people to do that. But if they want to do it, fantastic. If you want to do it, Monkey, if you draw, go for it. And then if you do that and you do draw it, and I will share that, say, hey, show me yours here. And again, if you guys do a real kick-ass one, I could use it for a card, or I could use it for something like a pinup or something in the actual comic. And let me know. Okay, when Harry came into his full inheritance, he said, let's splurge. So we did. It's taken a while for me to get used to all this. Look at the size of the house. Wow. Yes, they are. That's right. Comic books and Goots, they're wearing Speedos. It's hilarious. My preference is not the speedos, but it's the ones like that are like shorter shorts. I don't like the long ones. I think it's ridiculous, especially if you want to get a tan and stuff. But it's like the James Bond ones that Daniel Craig had. That's kind that I have. It's like it doesn't go up; it goes straight, a little lower than that. I find those better, especially if you want to get a tan. And I can believe it or not, I can get a tan even being a redhead, even though I'm called blonde these days. It's funny to me. But with a baby on the way, you can never have too much space. Oh, and here comes the Lord of the Manor now. He's been the hit of the neighborhood since he got his new toy. End of the line, pardon. I got to greet the traveling parson and the new schoolmarm. Haha, Harry Osborne, the Hopalong Cassidy of the dirt bike crowd. Eat your heart out, Pete. So long, Mr. Osborne. Thanks for the ride. He romps through the woods with neighbor kids every chance he gets. Don't you, big boy? Just trying to practice playing Papa, Mommy. So there's the Speedo again, comic books. Cahoots. That's hilarious. But as Peter and his host drift back to the party, Mary Jane, I figure she'd be here. Pardon me, but don't we have some matchmaking friends in common? Only about half a world, Tiger. You're looking good. I return a compliment, but that would belabor the obvious. Got a few minutes for an old friend? But for you? But of course. And these guys are like, I don't get it. What does she see in him? I don't know. Maybe it's that wimpy Alan Alda approach. That's hilarious. Yes, Aunt May's heads back to Florida next week. He goes, after Mary Jane turned down my proposal, I never thought I could be at ease with her, around her again. But I'm staying in the city. I already have several modeling gigs lined up. It's actually very nice to have MJ as a friend and not a yow. Whew. I've never felt a spider sense warning buzz that intense. Now that's pretty telling, right? That intense. You know what I think? I think this is the rumblings of the Beyonder. That's what I think. I think the Beyonder is gonna, rope them all in onto that ship in Central Park. Because it's getting very, very close to it. It's only a few inches away. He goes, phew. I've never felt a spider sense warning buzz that intense. The feeling's fading now. But what kind of massive danger could so suddenly appear and then disappear? That question will haunt Peter for days to come. When it is finally answered, his life will never be the same. Exactly. But before he can think on this further, you're too easily distracted, Tiger. What you need is a good dunking. Oh yeah? Well, if I'm going into the pool, lady, I'm not going alone. Yahoo! So this is interesting here. You got the Jane Jones Jameson. Meanwhile, mere miles away in the executive suite of the Daily Bugle building. Great shot of Jameson there. He drew a really good Jameson. And this is when they were still giving him the Hitler mustache that Ditko established. Super Jihad in my comic, Superman, Pigman's greatest villain, also has a Hitler mustache. As I draw Muhammad with a Hitler mustache, the one behind me. It's just that instant identification of something bad, evil. It's a shorthand for that. Publisher J. Jones Jameson surveys his city as if searching for something amid its gleaming towers that will brighten his day. Jonah, aren't you ready yet? Ready, Marla? I hope you haven't forgotten our outing. Is that a cigar? You told me you were going to quit. I didn't light it, Marla. I just needed it to help me think. What's wrong, Jonah? Please tell me if I can do anything to help. No one can help me with this, Marla, but yes, you should know. A few years ago, I financed a special genetics experiment. Mac Gargan, a man in my employ, underwent treatments designed to make him more powerful than Spider-Man. On that score, the experiment was a success. Mac Gargan became the Scorpion. The Scorpion's a great villain. He's really vicious, powerful, stronger than Spider-Man, just a mean bastard too. Ethan drew him. Ethan Van Sciver drew him the night that we did the Spider-Man. If you haven't seen it, those who are new here, this is the drawing I did of the Spider-Man foes, and I added Spider-Man on there. Ethan drew the Scorpion. It's a great villain. It's a great shot by Romita Jr. Okay. But the treatments also drove him mad. I had hoped to sponsor a crusader who would defeat Spider-Man. Instead, I created a creature who was a bigger menace than Spider-Man could ever be. I mean, he was a villain, J. Jonah Jameson back then. He was a villain, hiring mad scientists to create these robots and supervillains to destroy Spider-Man. That's criminal behavior right there. So much so that Roger Stern understood that to bring it here 20 years later and have J. Jonah Jameson say this. Absolutely. Comic books in cahoots. J. Jonah Jameson has done some crazy shit against Spider-Man over the years. He really has. I mean, he's one of his great villains, really. And then he has his soft moments, and then he reveals his envy of Spider-Man. There was what was it? Could have been issue 10, a 3-panel moment where he's like, he hates himself for, Mikey, he definitely underrated the Scorpion. A badass villain, a really dangerous villain. And Spider-Man, when he faces him, he's not sure if he can beat him. That's how strong he is. So here's J. Jonah Jameson saying, the authorities don't know the full extent of my involvement, and the Scorpion was too crazed to tell them. I've only confided in the other person, and he's now dead. Jonah, what's past is past. Why bring this up now? Because, my dear, someone has uncovered my secret. I'm being blackmailed. Look at that envelope. Look at this envelope. There's a connection here. At that moment, back in Englewood Cliffs, special delivery, Mr. Osborn. Sorry I kept you waiting. We have a party going on around back. Special delivery, huh? From who? Who from? I couldn't begin to guess, sir. They didn't list the return address. Sign here, please. He opens it. Oh, my God. Minutes later. Harry? Why are you starting up your bike, dear? I was just about to put the stakes on. That's okay, hon. I don't have much of an appetite. You and the others can go ahead without me. What? Harry, you're not serious? Harry! Harry Osborn has had a troubled past. He was the son of the Green Goblin clearly, but he was also a drug addict, a junkie. Hey, Flady. How's it going? I liked old school Electro, Flady writes. I know the outfit is corny by today's standards, but just thought they were really fun to shoot with him. Absolutely. All those issues were entertaining as hell. And Spider-Man, Peter Parker roasting the bad guys in order to try to make himself feel a little more at ease with it. It's hilarious. Comic books and moods. The Osborn hairline is a mess. That's hilarious, man. Did create something pretty damn unique with them. And it didn't take long for communists, and Marvel to say, you know what, that looks more black. We got to make him black now. That's it. They had to, right? So now, they're black in the cartoon, and maybe some other place as well. But, the recent cartoon guys, whatever you heard, Peter is Peter. He is a young character. He's a nerd. He's a good kid, a wholesome kid. Just an honest kid trying and do the right thing. So whatever else was around it, keep that in mind. And I love the way they made the suit eventually, because the main suit came in later on, and it was like inspired by the John Romita version. So it's worth watching. But again, if you don't watch it, I get it. Disney has fucked around so much that I don't begrudge anyone for not watching anything that they have. Okay. Hey Liz, why so down at the mouth? Something wrong? I don't know. Harry just got on his bike and rode off into the woods without his helmet. He never does that. And he sounded so strange. Relax, Liz. It's probably nothing. If it'll make you feel better, I'll go see if I can find him, okay? There's something about this also. Look at John Romita Jr. and Dan Green, right? That looks like, classic Peter Parker. It looks like the John Romita Sr. version. And again, what I noted the other day, if you remember, guys, you see these cheekbones for Harry, right? Sunken in. You see that for J. Jonah Jameson. Even for the women. They never gave Peter, like those cheeks. They gave him a youthful look, and they wanted to maintain it for a while. On this angle, he has a little there. But if you notice that, it's pretty rare actually for a superhero who's as fit as he is not to have that kind of gaunt look. But I think it's maybe a directive because it began with I think Romita Senior. Hey Daniel, how's it going? Hope all is well. Just saw the Thunderbolts. It's garbage. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm hearing it's good, it's bad, and so on. All over the place. I didn't watch it. I don't know. I didn't watch Captain America, the Captain America, quote unquote, with the idiot who plays him, and now supposedly he's talking out there because he's so desperate to be. His movie bombed. It's a failure. He's a failure as Captain America, but he's out there saying, my Avengers team in Doomsday and Secret Wars, why the hell would he be the head of the Avengers? Why? There's no reason. We know why Steve Rogers is. Why would he be? He's not. He doesn't have that kind of pull. He doesn't have the kind of respect from Thor and Iron Man and the others that he would have, or, well, Iron Man's gone, but, can you imagine, Sam Wilson, hey Thor, come on, go do this, and Thor's like, yeah, yes, no, I don't see that. He hasn't earned that. Cap earned it. Cap definitely earned that. Um, yeah, absolutely, Flatty. A man called Plush. So much for hiring the best actor for the job, as left to say. They didn't have to change Osborn's appearance in animation. They didn't. Yeah, so there's that as well. But the character was Norman Osborn. I don't think there was any real difference. I think they even got a black actor to do the voice. I think because it was a deeper voice. Usually they get that for they get black actors usually for their deeper voice. Usually. Um, so again, I think it was absolute surface bullshit. DEI, absolute surface because it was good. I liked the cartoon. I'm gonna watch the second season. I liked it, despite all the shit that we heard. It's woke, it's this, it's that. Whatever, man. Peter's in there, and that to me is the most important thing. That Peter Parker was Peter Parker in that series, and everyone else was themselves also. Except of course, they made the Scorpion, Hispanic with a real heavy accent, like a Tony Montana. You got a problem, It's like, that's a little off. Mac Gargan. That's not a. And also when they keep the same names, it's like, it doesn't really work. But yeah, Flady. I mean, look, Peter's just younger than Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. He'll never be 30. They'll be 30 and they'll stop there. He'll always be in his 20s, early 20s, sometimes close to mid 20s, but always 20s. Keep a little baby fat on him. That's the idea. Because he was one of the youngest superheroes. He was like a sidekick who wasn't a sidekick. He was his own man. He was the first like sidekick aged character who was his own major superhero. You always had Robin and the other sidekicks, but he was his own. And I was going to show somebody. You know what? Let me keep going. Actually, I don't want to get too distracted. Could you, Peter? Sure. You and MJ just take it easy. I'll take care of the rest. Look at his drawing. It always impressed me. It was like very, at least the gestures were very like photorealistic. It's a drawing, it's a cartoon, but rock solid. I think the guys at Kayfabe said something about Romita Jr. that he never makes anyone running the same way twice. I think that's true. I think it's true. He never makes anyone run the same way twice. I guess so, yeah. Because the last time Harry acted really weird was back in college when he suffered a drug-induced mental breakdown. I hope it's nothing like that this time. Um, Daniel says, saw both. They both suck. Yeah, Captain America and Thunderbolts. I thought he should have stayed Falcon 100%. He was good as Falcon. No one had any problem with Anthony Mackie as Falcon. Zero. He was good at it. He was a great sidekick to Cap. He wasn't a leader like Cap. He's not. The actor's not built for it. His attitude sucks. Entitled idiot, and so on. And also saying Captain America's not really about America. He actually said that in Italy. He's retarded. I mean, really is. And I gotta say, he doesn't have that heroic quality, that heroic look. He's not the size that Cap should be. He's not the build that Cap should have. He's not attractive. He's not a handsome guy. He's like a gremlin. I mean, he looks bad, especially as Captain America. It's like, no, you have to represent. You have to look the part at least. If he was a better looking guy, a taller guy, okay. He's not. As Falcon, sure. And then he got his own Falcon, right? Is that right, Daniel? I think he got his own Falcon, which is ridiculous. Um, he just got Rogers hand me down with no super soldier. He still could have been an Avengers leader like Steve for tactical. I guess, he was in the military. There's that one thing that they just have going for him, but I just never quite bought him as a leader. Not telling Thor what to do. I don't see that. You can see Steve Rogers doing it. There's a respect factor, and they can look at each other, face to face, eye to eye. Comic Book Saint Cooch writes, "Are you familiar with the behind the scenes of the Hobgoblin reveal being sabotaged by the editor for a career move on his part?" I do. Wasn't that James Owsley who ended up being what's his name? James Owsley. He was the editor, a young guy. Jim Shooter put him in there. He clashed with Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends. Christopher Priest. He went from James Owsley to Christopher Priest. He is a good writer. I like his writing, but he was the editor. And he was a young guy. I think he was trying to make some bold moves, and it didn't quite work out. And they were clashing. And the idea that Roger Stern left DeFalco was also messed with, because they started bringing in the possibility that he was Ned Leeds and so on. And then Ned Leeds, it didn't really quite work for me. It really didn't. We didn't know enough of him. His attitude when he was introduced here, remember the last video or two that I was reading? That's not Ned Leeds at all. You can live a double life to some extent, but that's not him at all. The guy's a decent guy, period. Nothing more than that. All right, Henry, take care. Be well. I didn't want to say it, but you're right. About what, Daniel? About the fact that he looks like a gremlin? Anthony Mackie, he does. He's not good looking. He's not that. Doesn't have a great voice. Doesn't have a great presence. He's not tall. He's not built. He doesn't do the work. Chris Evans is a piece of shit commie. God damn it, he was a great Cap. He brought it all. He was great as Cap. Everything about him. He had the voice. He had the look. He had the height. He had the build. I believed that was Captain America. He really pulled it off. Give the guy kudos, because again, it's difficult for a guy like that stupidly, ideologically, to be that stupid on an ideological level in real life. And then the dummy Kevin Feige said in an interview, like, he's becoming Cap. Have you seen his tweets? It's like, what? I laughed out loud. I said, this guy's an idiot communist. That's Captain America? No, that's Captain Russia during the Cold War. His tweets. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But he was a great Cap. No, it was never meant to be Ned. Absolutely not. I think DeFalco brought that in there. A Man Called Plush. It's goofy how those crying for representation would rather have the first Black American mainstream comic superhero wear a white hero stripes. Absolutely. It's ridiculous. Be your own man. Falcon was really good in the movies. Really well done. He worked as Cap's partner. It was rock solid. He could have continued being Falcon with no problem. Yeah, he was. Chris Evans was a perfect Cap. He was fantastic. Tall, handsome, blonde hair, blue-eyed, very heroic, good voice, a lot of command there. And he brought it. He worked his ass off. He looked the part. He looked like he had the power. Mackie, medium size, rarely goes with his shirt off, whereas, Chris Evans at least a few times showed his goods. He's like, okay, guys, I'm Cap. He's like, yeah, you are. Comic Book Saying Roots, the rumor was Hobgoblin was going to be Kingpin's kid on a power trip, take over Dad's operation. There was that rumor as well. It could have been interesting. Who ended up being, didn't he end up being the Rose? Wasn't that Richard Fisk? Comic books and cahoots. I read that whole article. It was not that long ago, actually. I have a copy of it, of the behind the scenes with all the principals. Jim Shooter was in that also talking about it and so on. It was really it was a great mystery, a really good mystery, because there was no real mystery in the old one for the Green Goblin. It was brought on. It was made after the fact. This one was from day one. Who is the Hobgoblin? Who is he? Hey, Wizard, the Board Time Lord, how's it going? Yes, I did. I did. They look great. Uh, when he wants to be great, I love Alex Ross. He's such a lefty idiot. He really is. He made, you know, really, I mean, grotesque propaganda posters for Obama and Biden. Just a little aside, speaking of propaganda, guys, I'm accused of making propaganda, right? I don't do propaganda. I do counter propaganda against the enemy's propaganda, the Islamic propaganda, communist propaganda. I counter it with my story, Pigman. That's a counter propaganda comic book. It's not propaganda. It's that people even accuse me. It's no joke. Muslims, you're a terrorist to me, a cartoonist. I counter terrorists. I support counterterrorism. Leftists and Muslims act like, and the idiots on the right. They're not really on the right though. Any collectivist to me is on the left. I don't give a shit what they claim. If you're a collectivist, that means the individual is out of the question with you. That means you see others as groups, period. You don't see the individual. You don't appreciate individualism. You're a leftist. I don't give a shit where you align, how you vote. You're a leftist. What was I getting at? They are propagandists, and my work is a counter propaganda. They hate counterterrorism more than they hate terrorism. That's not an exaggeration, guys. You see, and once it's interesting because once you figure these things out and put them in clear, cold print or on a thing, I think it hits them because they never quite thought of it that way. That's exactly what they're doing. They don't hate terrorism. They hate counterterrorism. They think in their mind they can accept atrocity like October 7th. They cannot accept the counter reaction to that. They can't. That's in their mind war. The only thing, they take that as a given. They expect that from Muslims, right? Because they're bigots in that sense. Where I don't give a shit what Islam expects them to do. I still say that when they do it, they're evil scumbags. And they should know better, living in the real world as they do. I did see those drawings, by the way, Wizard. They were great. I also saw, check out Alex Ross's drawings of the Hobgoblin. They're fantastic. Check them out, guys. Really, really good. Great stuff. He also did the opening to Spider-Man 2. He did the art in the opening for Spider-Man 2, taking elements of the first one, giving painting. And if you notice, pay close attention because the movie version had the stupid extra lines, whereas Ross's version, even in the movie, guys, he made the Ramita lines with the nose and the mouth line to suggest the human face the way John Romita Jr. does it here, which I will show you. By the way, look at that right there. Look at the musculature of Spider-Man. Look at the line work. Look at that, guys. Again, that's technically inaccurate, meaning the web lines would be going the other way. If you want to be, real. No. You have the chance as an artist to stylize. You have a chance to express it aesthetically. You're not bound by reality. So therefore, Ramita and his son said, I'm going to make it like a cylindrical thing, a symmetrical thing. I'm going to make it wrap around the body. And at times it'll be pointing the other way, meaning the webbing will be going this way at certain angles. But on this angle, I'm going to make it go this way because it looks more like a cylinder. And it works beautifully. I don't know if I ever convey exactly what I mean by that. But if you want, guys, you can see a video of me discussing it and drawing it and showing you exactly what I mean in the actual thing. So check it out, guys. It's on my playlists. It's about a half hour. I think it's worth it. I make the case that they really took the next level. They really great job. Check this out also. Just the way Romita Jr. draws rock solid build like Tarzan right there. Look at that. Big feet. He always gave him big feet, long legs, long body. Fantastic. I mean, he's one of the greatest artists in Spider-Man ever. Once out of sight of the party, Peter bounds into the treetops. His amazing musculature, over 40 times stronger than that of a normal man. That's how strong he is. And his astounding ability enabling him to cover vast distances. I love when these writers get it, when they talk up his power, because he's a very powerful character, in the blink of an eye. There he is in the middle of that clearing. At least he doesn't look like he's done anything too crazy. Harry, need somebody to talk to, old buddy? No, no thanks, Pete. I have to handle this myself. Maybe you do, and maybe you don't. Look, we've known each other all through college, and if you're hurting, I want to help. Pete, I may be beyond help. I don't know. What I've just learned is so unbelievable. I received an anonymous blackmail demand from someone who has proof that my father was the Green Goblin. What? How? It's all in here, photocopies of pages from some secret journal. It's like reading a confession in my father's own handwriting. Scanning the pages, Peter Parker recalls a story he had been told long ago. The story he had kept secret. He kept a secret from Harry. He didn't want to hurt Harry. He found out that Harry was that Norman Osborn was Harry's father. Wanted to protect his friend, but it caused him a lot of grief, I think, ultimately. It had all begun years ago when Norman Osborn had his partner, Mendel Strom, arrested for embezzlement. With Strom out of the way, Osborn gained complete control of his chemical company as well as access to Strom's notes and experimental formulas. Osborn decided to check them out personally, but he was not as skilled a scientist as his former partner. Boom! Still, Norman Osborn had always been a survivor. He recovered. His mind did not. The chemical explosion had somehow made him inhumanly strong, but that brought him no pleasure. He lusted for power, more power than he could ever come by legally. And so, using his vast resources, Norman created a new identity and became the Green Goblin. He immediately set out to make a name for himself by defeating Spider-Man. It wasn't as easy as he thought it would be, but eventually he managed to discover that Spider-Man was secretly Peter Parker. That was nearly the end of Spider-Man. That was the first issue of John Romita Sr., 139. Issue 39. Romita, his first issue. By the end, it was Norman Osborn taking his mask off after he discovered who Peter was. A big, big issue. I mean, huge. You found out that the Green Goblin is Harry's father, and you found out that the Green Goblin found out who Spider-Man was. Look at his drawing, man. Look at that. Rock solid. Look at that. Look at the line work. Again, the webbing wraps around his body, wraps around his face there. That line goes there. It's fantastic. Look at the lines. With his great enemy helpless before him, Osborn revealed his identity, taunting Parker with his secret story. But overconfidence got the better of him. Wishing to prove his superiority, the Goblin released his captive for one final battle. For the Goblin, it very nearly was. Knocked back into a table of equipment, Osborn received a massive electrochemical shock, robbing him of all memory of the Green Goblin. If only his amnesia had been permanent. But in time, Norman Osborn remembered everything. The Goblin became his deadliest enemy. And right now, in the comics and in the cartoons, Norman Osborn is like an ally of Peter Parker, giving him weaponry and helping him out in his exploits. A little strange to see. It's probably not going to last, but, we'll see. And then he struck at me. Now, this is devastating. And then he struck at me through those closest to me and killed Gwen Stacy, the girl I loved. That was the final blow. I tracked the Hobgoblin down, determined to avenge Gwen's death. I wanted to kill him, but I couldn't. I wouldn't become a murderer like him. In the end, fate took a hand, and Norman Osborn was killed by a trap he'd set for me. That's a rock solid pose. Looking at the back is up there. It goes in, the leg out, in. Love that stuff. Just a heroic pose. Daniel says, when they ran that ad for the Kamala ad for presidential run, I knew Ruffalo was a nut. But seeing RDJ in the main Avengers, my stomach dropped. I think about Iron Man and siding with Philistine and Hooties, yeah. Um, yeah, RDJ is a mess, you know. He did an interview years ago and he says, well, you can't go to prison and come out a liberal, you know. You could tell he was friends with right wingers, Mel Gibson and others. And I think that's the truth of Robert Downey. I don't think he's a leftist. I think he's a player. He likes to play. He's an actor, so he'll act like he's on the left. I don't think he is. I just don't. As he put it, you can't come out of that and come out this touchy-feely liberal. Also playing Iron Man the way he did, you know. Iron Man's as right-wing as it gets. You know, he was a stand-in for America's fight against Russia in the Cold War for decades in the comics. Yeah, Iron Man kicked Johannes' ass in the first movie, even though they didn't. They made them some amalgamation of everything, right? Maybe they're Johannes, maybe not. They never explained it up, but we knew. That was like a shorthand for it. Yeah, that's right, Daniel. Norman had just died when Harry, coming down from a badass trip, first discovered his father's secret. I was in no shape then to give him the help he needed. Yeah, well, you know, what the hell? Peter needed help. Peter suffered in silence about that death also. At least the fact that it was his great villain who killed her, and when Peter tried to save her, you know, he accidentally snapped her neck with the webbing. It was a tough comic, man. Wow, a tough read. The beautiful Gwen. He couldn't handle it. He went totally off the deep end for a time. He even thought he was the Goblin. Yeah, Harry actually became the Green Goblin for a while. It was a blessing when his memory of all those nightmares was destroyed. But what's going to happen now? Pete, I don't know what to say. My father was a criminal, a murderer. He killed Gwen. It's all so senseless. He must have been out of his mind. Yeah, he must have been. But he's gone now. It's over. Oh, I wish it was. I'd like to tell this blackmailing slime where to stick his evidence. But if the news got out, what would it do to Liz, to our baby? I don't know what to do. For right now, you play this guy's game, string him along, and find out what he's after. Most of all, play it cool. I'll be with you every step of the way. That's some good advice right there. You'd still help me, Pete, knowing who my father was and what he did? Darned right I would. The goblins hurt enough people. I won't stand by and see him hurt you too. Now, where and when are you supposed to meet this creep? That's a friend right there, and that's a hero. I mean, Peter Parker handling it like a boss right there, a real adult. That's a great drawing of Peter also. Excellent drawing. Okay. The next afternoon at the New York's prestigious Century Club. Mr. Osborne, how nice to see you again, sir. And who is your guest? This is Mr. Parker, a close friend of mine. We're considering him for membership. Very good, sir. The club room is now open for your pleasure. I always found this pretty cool. They're walking in sync, you know. I just think that's cool. Someplace must cost a fortune to join. 2 fortunes. I was lucky. I inherited my membership. We're a little early. Might as well hang out at the bar. Okay, but nothing alcoholic. Yeah, Peter doesn't drink. Don't worry. I stay away from mind-altering substances nowadays. I can see the Booker room. That's where you're supposed to meet our mystery. That's where we're supposed to meet our mystery man, right? That's what his note said, which means he has a lot. He has to be a member of the club. Huh. Okay. That's also another hint who he might be. A powerful man, wealthy, connected. That's not all he is. The only man who could possibly have gotten access to Norman Osborn's secret papers is, huh? A kingpin? There he sits, bold as brass, having Sunday dinner with 2 of his muscle boys. What's going on here? I thought the Hobgoblin was behind this black belt business. I know he broke into Osborn's old hideaways, and so this is Peter acknowledging for the first time here that he thinks it is a Hobgoblin. I like that. It's smart. and off. I'd assume that he found blackmail material amongst that stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. Harry, do you know the fat guy at the far table? Um, do you think they would have Peter Parker calling a fat guy fat these days in the comics? I don't think so. Not personally. That's Wilson Fisk. He's some sort of bigwig in the import-export trade, but it's rumored that he didn't come by all of his money honestly. That's an understatement, Peter thinks. He runs most of the organized crime on the East Coast. This could be a bigger deal than I thought. So Peter's ready for something big here. He's like, okay, this is something else here. Got the Kingpin here? What the hell's going on? And while Peter considers the possibility of the Kingpin's involvement, the club steward opens up the Booker room and immediately draws a line of restless members. Good afternoon, Mr. Vandergill, Mr. Kingsley. Go right in. Anyone who knows, knows. If you know, you know. That's all I'll say for now. The activity in the outer corridor does not escape the notice of Mr. quote-unquote Mr. Fisk, nor does his interested reaction go unnoticed by Peter Parker. Yep. Kingpin's looking back like, huh. Kingpin seems as curious about this as I am. That's some line of stuffed shirts waiting to, hey, what's Jonah Jameson doing here? Every little move is happening. It's like, damn, guys. Daniel says they played Gwen's altered death scenes in Spider. 4 I liked was a good scene. Spider-Man, yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think. It had its moments, but overall, that was not a good take on the Spider-Man movies. The guy who directed the recent Snow White directed that one. Those. No body shaming for sure. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So here you got it. Very angry, J. Jonah Jameson. I asked you a civil question, Williams. I don't need smart aleck answers. He goes, but sir, I thought you were joking. You asked who'd reserve the room, and, well, didn't you, sir? I guess the person who set this all up made someone believe that. Shortly, as Peter and Harry approached the steward, I have your name on the list, Mr. Osborn, but not your friends. I'm afraid I can't let him in. See here, Williams. Mr. Parker is a close and trusted. Easy, Harry, easy. If those were the rules, those are the rules. I'll go ahead and don't worry. I'll be nearby. Parker's a very mature Peter Parker here. I love that. He's written like a child at times. The last few I'm reading like a child, emotional as hell. Here he's just cool, calm, collected, giving great advice to Harry, and understanding what's going on here and being very cognizant. I love that. That's Peter Parker. Well, that's the last of them. I wonder what this meeting is about. The Kingpin hasn't made a move, but that doesn't mean that he won't. Criminy, what if Hobgoblin sold Osborn's papers to the Kingpin? Osborn had learned my secret identity. If he wrote that down too, the Kingpin might have the goods on me this very moment. Think about that. We saw what the Kingpin did when he found out Matt Murdock's, Daredevil's secret identity. Imagine he found out Peter's. He's been going off, he's been fighting Spider-Man for years. Years longer than Daredevil. Imagine what he would have done to Peter's life. Yeah. Wasting not a second, Parker dashes into the unoccupied room. Well, just a few walls away, there's Kingsley Roderick. Looks like I'm in the same boat with half the club, but why are they staring at me like that? It's him. It must be. His old man was the only one who knew. Norman Osborn would, so the Hobgoblin used all the dirt that Norman Osborn had on these guys against them. Norman Osborn would have had proof of the kickbacks. I should have known better than to let Norman in on that oil deal. His boy probably found his private papers. Young Osborn certainly has me over a barrel. I wonder what his demands will be. Merger? Takeover? And then you got in the back, you have J. Jonah Jameson. And at the back of the room, seated apart from his fellow members, I never realized there were so many in the club with so much to hide. I can imagine what they're thinking. Perhaps they're right. I used to confide everything in Norman Osborn. He was a good friend. I'd hate to think that his son had stooped to blackmail. Well, we'll find out. We'll soon find out. As the clock chimes the hour, a curtain at the end of the chamber slowly opens, and the assemblage meets their master. The assemblage meets their master. I'm pleased to see that you're all so prompt. I am the Hobgoblin. We are all going to become very close associates. It's a great, great drawing of the Hobgoblin right there. I used this for the cover of the last of my first video. It's fantastic. Romita Jr. always makes the eye, his left eye, bigger. The right eye more flattened, like Kirby's Hulk. It's damn good, man. Inking, everything about it is fantastic. Okay. Godfrey! They're in shock. Suddenly it all makes sense. He has to be the one behind the break-ins at my company. He must have found Dad's secret caches. But you're dead. It was all over the media. Issue 245. That's the one that I skipped. Lefty Donovan was one of his associates he used as a guinea pig to test the power and sent him against Spider-Man, and he ended up dying while he recuperated. Now he's back. My death was a convenient deception. Let's get down to business, shall we? You are all here because you have secrets which you'd rather keep secret. Some of you are guilty through association, and some of you are just plain guilty. All of you, however, are quite wealthy. I could have approached any one of you and demanded a large portion of your personal fortunes, but such a large transaction would have been noticed. And so instead I have decided to be magnanimous and assess you all a modest fee on a regular basis. Otherwise, your darkest secrets will become public knowledge. And Spider-Man's up there. So that's it. Pretty sneaky move. There's something screwy here, though. My spider sense ought to be going wild this close to the Hobgoblin, but I'm getting nary a tingle. What gives? I don't care what or who you are behind that fright mask, mister. You're not going to get away with this. Jonah, no. Really, Jameson? And how do you intend to stop me? This rabble won't help you. By the way, I saw a little of the Spider-Man cartoon where what's his name? Mark Hamill did the voice to Hobgoblin. It was so shitty. I can't stand that guy. He was like trying to do a Joker thing. It's like so bad. Put on a different voice, man. It's a different character. He's not the Joker. Not everyone's a Joker, Mark. Anyway, he was an easy mark for the communists in Hollywood, that's for sure. So, Jonah, please, he could ruin us. You idiots. You're playing right into his hands. If you don't stand up to him now, you'll be paying for the rest of your lives. Jameson's right. You won't get 1 red cent from me. You still have a bit of your father in you, Osborn. You're just as crazy as he was. No, that's not true. Boom! Punches him. It's a robot. A robot. It was just a robot. The real Hobgoblin could be anywhere. He could even be one of us. But high overhead, I wouldn't bet the family jewels on that, Kingsley. My spider sense is buzzing now, and it feels like the danger is coming from outside. Again, if you know, you know a certain character's name. If you want to, and again, this could be a case of a brother, whatever. We will definitely go through the 3-part Hobgoblin story. We'll read issue 250 after this, this is 249. We'll read 250, then we'll jump. We'll play a little with the in-betweeners, like the DeFalco and French stuff, but then we'll jump to that series, which basically tells the full story about who the Hobgoblin is, the real one. I wouldn't bet the family jewels on that, Kingsley. My spider sense is buzzing now, and it feels like the danger is coming from outside. If you want to meet the real Hobgoblin in the flesh, gentlemen, I'll be happy to oblige. You'll have to forgive me another deception. I wanted to ferret out all the troublemakers in the group. You see, he's not crazy. He's smart. He's dangerous and smart and ruthless. It's a great shot of Harry Osborn. Look at that. It's a great shot. Boom! Hits him hard, probably knocks him out. Look out! Is there anyone else here who's foolish enough to defy me? That was a silly question, wasn't it? Spider-Man popping on. This is a surprise, Spider-Man, but a welcome one. Let us see if you can fight any better when you're not encumbered with a black cat. Blast it. I wanted to steer him outside. Should have known that with all the extra strength he's gained. See Spectacular Spider-Man number 85. That's where you have the power. He wouldn't hesitate about crashing through a few doors. You'll find me prepared for anything, Spider-Man. Even you. Bum, 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 bum. Not those corny pumpkin bobs again. Show a little originality, Hobgoblin. I love the way Romita draws him. It's fantastic. And what a pose by Spider-Man. Look at that. Little bent toes. Look at that. Fantastic. Your wit never ceases to amaze me, Spider-Man. Too bad that it is no more effective against me than is your webbing. Get down, boss. No. Put your guns away. We're in no immediate danger back here. I wish to observe this Hobgoblin. Run! Run where? Hobgoblin must have a PhD in sneaky. As long as these businessmen are in danger, he has me at a disadvantage, and he knows it. At least he doesn't seem to be packing any real big explosive today. The club I rigged up out of a broken wood and webbing is stopping these babies easily. What's this? A dud? Mighty shoddy craftsmanship, Hobby. Maybe I spoke too soon. That dud is disintegrating into some kind of gas. It can't be too dangerous, though, or my spider sense, it's gone. He must have duplicated the sense-deadening gas the Green Goblin once used on me, issue 39, which is when the Green Goblin trapped Peter and discovered that he was Spider-Man after he discovered he was Spider-Man. And there's just something here, guys. A slight difference between his father and Senior Junior. Romita Jr. put a little more style. He put a little more style on the eyes, like a brow, a thicker top line, like a brow over the eyes. I just love his version. Love his version on that. It's a slight little differentiation between him and his father. But again, damn it, guys, sorry about that. I'm trying to click these individual panels and it's having a little problem. But again, guys, look at that. The nose line, the mouth line, the jaw line. It's not by accident. It's not haphazardly placed like McFarlane. I know all the old guys, Bagley and all those guys. It's on purpose and it's consistent. Nose line goes there. Mouth line goes there. Jaw line goes there. I love it. And without my spider sense, yow! Surprised, aren't you, Spider-Man? Ooh! I didn't just steal the Green Goblin's weaponry. I improved on it. That gas you'll find also carries a powerful sedative. He's knocking him out. You are quite helpless now, barely worthy of my notice. I should just leave you here as an example to the others. As the room seems to spin around him, Spider-Man instinctively struggles to pull a microelectronic spider tracer from his belt. Little things like this also. The fingers this way, that way. Little things like that. Even that. Everything is where it belongs. Beautiful. Love it. This looks like a man in a suit. Look at that. I can't click. Okay. Look at this, guys. That's a lot of thought going on there. It's not just a haphazard, whatever, Spider-Man got webs over. No. He's going to keep it consistent there. From this angle, that line there, that line there. Everything makes sense. The wrinkles in the neck. Again, I just love this stuff. But before he can put it to use, the darkness claims him. And the tracer bug rolls across the floor, all but unnoticed. Except these big, small feet. They look small, the Kingpin's feet. On second thought, I should spare you any further humiliation and simply put you out of your misery. But as the master criminal triggers his glove blaster, Sting! Who threw that tray? Who dared interfere in the business of the Hobgoblin? I did. There's been too much confusion, too much noise and confusion here today. The Kingpin of crime. I've forgotten that he was a club member. That's a great Great Hobgoblin there as well. As you say, sir, I shall respect your wishes. As for the rest of you, I will be in touch. So saying, the hobgoblin wheels about it on his jet glider. He does not see the massive fingers which reach down to retrieve the fallen tracer bug and then toss it towards its target with flawless accuracy. That's great. That's great. We shall meet again, Mr. Fisk. Perhaps. Spider-Man. Huh? Can you hear me? Yeah, well, what does that smell? Smelling salts. I thought they might bring you around. Your stamina is as remarkable as ever. You were unconscious less than a minute. You should have little trouble tracking your foe, by the way. I personally placed your tracer device on his flying craft. You? You're helping me? Why? The hobgoblin is a very capable man. In time, he might grow bold enough to interfere in my operations. I prefer to let you apprehend him. It's simply good business. See, this is just, again, it's adult writing. Good writing by Roger Stern. Not making the villains into idiots. They're evil, but they're also smart and dangerous. That's how you write a villain. Ayn Rand, the way she wrote Ellsworth Toohey, the greatest devil in literature, the greatest villain, hands down. You don't underestimate them. Now, you're never going to have, I think, an actual villain who is as smart as Ellsworth Toohey. I just don't think so. I think it's Rand. But don't underestimate them and what they're capable of. I prefer to let you apprehend him. It's simply good business. I should have known. But the Kingpin's wrong. I need my spider sense to track my tracer bug. And thanks to Hobgoblin's new and improved gas, my spider sense is totally gone. Maybe for good. So guys, I'm going to go back to Pigman. I'm going to check out some of your comments here and then see what we got. And try to pitch some more. Pitch a little more. I'm close to 18,000. Got 275. That's a good milestone right there. 275 is a good number. Thank you guys. Flutterbat. Hey, Flutterbat. Yeah, Hobgoblin was a genius, actually. Also one of the most persistent of Spider-Man's enemies. Absolutely. A great villain. Just a great villain. Well written, well designed, and just like a second shot at the Green Goblin. But again, I think I prefer him. I don't think it's just... I just prefer him. Norman Osborn's always a little unhinged when he's a Green Goblin. Now, if he's not crazy in a Green Goblin, he could be a formidable enemy, but he's crazy. He's nuts. Hobgoblin's not. He's dangerous, ruthless, smart as hell. And he does it almost like an aside, like he's in Spider-Man in the way where Spider-Man is an adventurer, and he's like that as well, but for ill, of course. But he has his own life, he has his own work, and that's why he was like, if I'm ever caught, it'll be horrific, it'll be a disgrace if I'm ever caught. Boombots, don't think I've ever seen the web bat before. Nice, yeah, that is cool. Art, how's it going, Art? Hail Bosch, we staring at spider lines again? Absolutely. Hearing your explanation on drawing his costume has made me pay more attention to his similar outfits. Absolutely. I can't. I love it. It's such thoughtful. Even this, guys. This is again. This is not by accident. I drew. I drew them the old day. How did I draw? With the kind of web lines that the Ramirez established. Look at that. Again, nose line, mouth line, a full circle there, a full circle there. The webs, the way it goes around on the fingers, between the fingers there. I love that stuff. And again, once you do that, it makes it easier for you. Even if it's a lot of work to do all the web lines, you don't have to reinvent it every time the way a lot of these artists do, because they just throw it down. Okay, Spider-Man got a lot of webs? Okay, I'll put a lot of webs. No rhyme or reason, haphazard, wobbly, to the point where if he's far away, they put a few lines. If he's close up, they put like 100 lines. Like, I can't stand that shit. The lack of consistency I can't stand. So yes, I'm looking at it again. Art again, it's something that I love it. I love the costume design on Spider-Man. Absolutely love it. Flutterbat, uneasy lines between Kingpin and Spidey. I love it. Yeah, absolutely right. That was it shocked Spider-Man. It shocked him. But Kingpin is true. He's like, this guy could be a threat. So maybe take him out for me. I like that. It is good business for him as being a bad guy. Um, Comic books and cahoots. You should auction that picture next time EBS doesn't. I sold it actually that night. Comic books and cahoots. That night, I haven't had a chance to send it. I'm going to send it today. I was supposed to send it a few days ago, unfortunately. But a few things came up, and anyway, I got a whole batch to send this along with other things. So I'm going to do all in one shot. I hope the buyer isn't too inconvenienced by that. But yeah, I sold it that night, so very, very cool. Boombots, new Pigman foe, the Jihad Goblin. That's right. Hilarious. And he has a turban instead of the hood. Yep, Flutterbat, exactly. My enemy is my friend. It's just good writing. It's just damn good writing by Roger Stern. Again, it was an adult in a room writing a character that he loved and doing a hell of a job. Hell of a job. He always wrote a very smart, cool, conscientious Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and who didn't take shit. He really didn't, and he was funny, generally funny, like Stan Lee's. I mean, Stan Lee's his Peter Parker Spider-Man was generally funny. When he's roasting the bad guys, it's really funny. Those early issues, to me, they're the best, and then this is the second best run. The Roger Stern Jeremy Jr. was so short-lived, though. It was like 24 issues. That's it. It's like, damn it. You would want more. And then Romita Jr. went to X-Men because Paul Smith left prematurely. I wish he didn't at that point. Not that I wanted him more on there than Jeremy Jr. I loved his version of X-Men. Excuse me. But love it. All right, guys. I'm going to go through. If you're new here again, I got some good eyeballs here. Thank you very much for being here. As always, everyone, thank you very much. Check out my Pigman comic book. Check it out, guys. I would really appreciate your support. Part of why I'm doing YouTube, first of all, I love comics, but I also want to promote my comic as I do this as well, always. So that's just part of the deal here. I appreciate you indulging me here. I got 5 different covers. I have 9-page preview. I have all these rewards here, different ones here. This is Killian Duke, the creator of Pigman within a comic book. You see him drawing Pigman here on his drawing lapboard. He's lettering this particular moment here. They've come to kill us and we'll die for it. It's funny because that echoed me 4 years later after this, when the savages came to kill us and died for it. I said, they came to kill us and died for it. Justice. And that ended up being a headline for newspapers, actually, which was pretty damn cool. It was from India to Dallas. They've come to kill us and we'll die for it. And here you see Killian Duke wearing his Pigman chest symbol, which again is September 11th, that being the towers, and 9/11 as well, and so on. Capitalist pig is a $, and he wears his pigskin leather jacket. So there's a little connection there, and his hair has a similar color of that pigskin leather to connect them. He gets into a street fight with these rats who are trying to shove Qurans in people's faces for free. They're called your Muslim friends, and that's why he calls them. He goes, hey, YMFers. He calls them YMFers, you motherfuckers. And they were harassing a girl over there, and they called her a whore. And they're near ground zero, and it pisses off Killian. He's like, what are you guys doing here, given these... Anyway, so they get into an argument, and they get into a street fight after they attack him. He dispatches them pretty damn well. And then he goes from his world to Pigman's world. In Killian's world, it's a black within the gutters, between the panels. Pigman's world, it's all white between the gutters. A more traditional, comic book. And here he is in all his glory coming out for the first time ever. And this is the first full shot of him here, close up. That's Pigman. That's Pigman. So, guys, thank you very much for being here. As always appreciate your time, your contributions here. Thank you very much. I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Take care. Be well.